Have you ever wondered what could happen if you trusted life just a little bit more? Imagine if the doors to abundance, opportunity, and inner peace stood waiting for you, simply requiring the key of unwavering belief. In Trust and Transform, Open New Doors to Prosperity, you will embark on a journey that reaches beneath the surface of gratitude routines, revealing deeply buried patterns that may have silently shaped your path for years. This book will show you how mastering trust and thankfulness can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary and make room for prosperity to flourish in unexpected ways. Trust and Transform, Open New Doors to Prosperity, written and published by Intentional Prosperity. Chapter 1. Embracing the Power of Trust. Have you ever considered how much your life could change if you allowed yourself to trust, not just the people around you, but the flow of life itself? Picture waking up each day confident that what lies ahead will work out in your favor, even if all the pieces aren't clear. Imagine approaching challenges from a place of calm assurance rather than constant worry, or reaching for your dreams without the nagging fear that things will go wrong. The idea might sound a little mysterious or even unrealistic if you've lived in a world where doubt and skepticism seem to rule. But what if the simple act of embracing trust could open undreamed-of doors and possibilities, right where you are now? Most people struggle with trust, usually without realizing how deeply it affects everything they do. You might notice this when second-guessing every decision, feeling stuck in your comfort zone, or hesitating to accept new opportunities that come your way. Perhaps you replay conversations in your mind, worrying whether you're good enough, or whether you've made a mistake somewhere along the path. The problem so many encounter is that a lack of trust builds an invisible wall. You begin to believe that you must control every detail to avoid disappointment, rejection, or failure. This habit breeds stress, creates unnecessary tension, and makes it difficult to enjoy even small moments of joy. The constant strain of overthinking or distrusting the process keeps you from fully engaging with life. It holds you back from the richness of relationships, dulls your sense of possibility, and can make you feel isolated in a world where others seem to glide effortlessly by. The good news is, trust is not something you have to be born with. It's a skill you can develop. Opening yourself to trust is like gently unlocking a window, letting in a fresh breeze that stirs up old air and invites new energy to fill your space. At its heart, trust is about letting go, the willingness to believe that as you do your best and remain open, the universe, or life, fate, or faith, however you choose to name it, will bring growth through every experience. Embracing trust means stepping into the unknown with a quiet courage, accepting uncertainty as a companion rather than a threat. When you decide to approach your days with an attitude of trust, something remarkable happens. You begin to tune into opportunities that pass unnoticed by those trapped in fear, and you handle setbacks with far greater resilience. The transformative solution to self-doubt and insecurity rests in this shift. By embracing the power of trust, you no longer allow anxiety and suspicion to dictate your decisions. Instead, you begin to cultivate a mental environment where positive expectations can take root. When you trust, your outlook changes. You see options instead of obstacles, beginnings where you once saw only endings. Instead of shrinking from new experiences, you feel inspired to step forward, curious about what might unfold. Trust invites confidence, calms the mind, and births a quiet optimism that supports you through both triumph and trial. It's not blind faith or naivety. It's a strong, grounded belief in your ability to navigate whatever comes, knowing that even setbacks carry seeds of new potential. In time, adopting this perspective isn't only an act of courage, it's the beginning of profound growth and the gateway to a life richer with possibility and prosperity. Learning to trust begins with small, mindful changes in your everyday actions. The first step is to pause whenever you feel anxious or skeptical and remind yourself that it's okay not to have all the answers. Taking a deep breath in moments of uncertainty, rather than automatically turning to worry or control, allows you to respond from a place of openness. Another practical step is to start saying yes to opportunities, even if you don't feel fully prepared. For example, if a friend invites you to a new event or you're given a challenging task at work, Choose to see it as a chance rather than a threat. Trust begins to build with each decision that invites you to stretch beyond what feels familiar. Over time, your mind learns that things work out more often than not, especially when you embrace new experiences. Imagine someone named Sarah who always declined invitations because she feared rejection or felt uncomfortable trying new things. One day, she made a conscious decision to trust herself and accept a colleague's invitation to a group project at work. Though nervous at first, she contributed her ideas, and her input was well received. As a result, she became a valued team member and her confidence grew, not just at work, but in other areas of her life. Step by step, she saw that opportunities arise where trust lives, and that trusting herself did not mean losing control, but rather gaining a new kind of strength. The beauty of embracing trust manifests in the ways your life becomes richer and more rewarding. As you let trust guide your choices, you may notice your relationships improving because communication and connection feel easier. Doubt and suspicion no longer shadow every conversation, and you start to see people's actions with kindness rather than suspicion. In your professional life, trusting both yourself and others helps reveal an inspiring sense of teamwork and flow, leading to creativity and achievement that might have once seemed out of reach. Even personally, life feels lighter, with less stress and more space for joy. Challenges that would have once been overwhelming become manageable, fueling a quiet pride each time you overcome something new. Now, it's time for you to put these ideas into practice. For the next week, challenge yourself to notice when doubt begins to cloud your judgment, and instead, choose a small act of trust. This might mean accepting spontaneous plans, sharing a heartfelt idea with someone, or even allowing yourself to take a break without guilt. As you do, journal your experiences at the end of each day, reflecting on how trust changes your responses and how it makes you feel. Remember, every moment of trust is a deliberate step toward greater freedom and prosperity. This journey doesn't require leaps, only a willingness to take steady, small, brave steps forward. As this chapter leaves you with the foundation to embrace trust, prepare to dive even deeper into the heart of transformation. Next, we will turn our attention to releasing fear and doubt, those loyal companions that so often hold us back from experiencing all that trust has to offer. Get ready to unpack the roots of your worries and rewrite the stories that define your limitations. Your journey is just beginning, and every action you take now is laying the path to a life full of opportunity and abundance. Before moving forward, make sure you're connected with the Intentional Prosperity community. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share your experiences or suggestions for growing together. Chapter 2. Releasing Fear and Doubt. What if you discovered that most of the limitations holding you back exist only within your own mind? Imagine standing at the threshold of your dreams and realizing that the only true barriers are the whispers of fear and doubt echoing from your past experiences and beliefs. For many people, fear and doubt appear like silent thieves, quietly stealing joy, sapping enthusiasm, and overshadowing moments of hope. Every time you try something new or dare to hope for something better, those inner voices speak up, warning you to play it safe, reminding you of previous failures, and filling your mind with the worst that could happen instead of the best that might unfold. It can feel as though every step forward is weighted with invisible shackles, making opportunities seem distant and risks unbearable. You may have noticed this pattern yourself. Perhaps there's a longing in your heart to move into a new career, build healthier relationships, or simply live life with more ease and joy. Yet fear, whether of rejection, failure, or the unknown, becomes a constant companion in your thoughts. Doubt creeps in, feeding on small setbacks or the criticism of others, gradually convincing you that it's safer to dream from afar than risk disappointment. You might catch yourself replaying old setbacks or overthinking each tiny decision, constantly assuming something could go wrong. Over time, all these doubts color your self-image and shape how you interact with the world, often leading to self-sabotage or giving up hope before you start. So many have felt this sense of being stuck, of watching life and possibility pass them by because of the subtle, relentless grip of fear. But what if, instead of letting fear and doubt quietly dictate your story, you could turn and face them, question their power, and ultimately release their hold over your choices? The transformative solution here is simple but profound. Learn to recognize these emotions, express them openly, and gently set them aside so that trust and possibility can take their place. This is not about ignoring fear or pretending that doubt never arises. Both are natural and sometimes even necessary. Instead, you become aware of these feelings, observe them without judgment, and deliberately choose another response. Allowing fear and doubt to have their say, but refusing to let them steer your life, sets you on a new path of intentional living. When you practice releasing fear and doubt, you begin to reclaim power over your thoughts and actions. Each time fear arises, maybe before giving a presentation or when considering an important relationship decision, you pause, acknowledge the feeling, and connect with your deeper reason or goal. Rather than running away or giving in to imagined disaster, you breathe through the discomfort and choose to act in spite of it. This simple but courageous act forms the groundwork for a quiet, mental revolution. As you continue to take small steps beyond fear's boundaries, your confidence grows, your outlook shifts, and new pathways open where only walls once stood. Gradually, your belief in your own resilience replaces worry, and excitement about the future outshines hesitation. This is how real growth happens, one thoughtful act of release at a time, slowly transforming not just what you dare to do, but the story you tell yourself about what is truly possible. The journey of releasing fear and doubt starts with a conscious decision to notice how these feelings appear in your life. The first actionable step is to pay attention to the moments when fear surfaces, such as hesitation when voicing your opinion or anxiety before tackling a new challenge. When you become aware of fear or doubt, pause and name it. Saying, "I feel nervous about this presentation," or "I am doubting my abilities here," disarms the power these emotions hold, making them subjects you can work with, rather than silent forces dictating your behavior. Once you acknowledge these feelings, gently question them. Ask yourself what the worst-case scenario truly would be, and whether your mind might be exaggerating the threat. In many situations, you will find that the imagined outcome is much less likely or troubling than initially feared. Now, take action while feeling the fear. As an example, consider Tom, who for years refrained from applying for his dream job because past disappointments had convinced him that he wasn't good enough. Recently, Tom decided to recognize the nervousness instead of burying it. He consciously told himself, "Yes, I feel scared of rejection, but this fear doesn't have to decide for me." With this simple acknowledgement and willingness to move forward, he submitted his application. To his surprise, he not only secured an interview, but also realized that he was far more capable than his doubts had told him. Even if he hadn't been offered the job, the act of stepping beyond the limits of his fear brought him renewed self-respect and excitement for future opportunities. Practicing these steps consistently yields powerful results. When you name your fears, challenge their control, and act in spite of them, your belief in your resilience blossoms. Confidence becomes something you generate by action, not something you passively wait to acquire. These practices also help regulate worry, turning nervous energy into the courage needed for growth. Over time, patterns of self-sabotage or avoidance shift into habits of daring and perseverance. Where anxiety and second-guessing once took root, you'll discover a growing sense of freedom to try, make mistakes, and learn. Your relationships will deepen as you drop old defenses and communicate authentically. You'll discover creativity where there used to be constraint, simply because you're no longer governed by fear. Each step forward acts as evidence that you can handle discomfort, opening you to a greater sense of possibility. To immediately apply what you've learned, design a simple, daily practice of fear release. Each morning, take a moment to identify one thing you would do today if fear were not in charge. Write it down as your intention and commit to taking one small step toward it, no matter how the outcome unfolds. At the end of the day, reflect on how that action felt, what you learned, and how your perception of yourself shifted as a result. Remember, this path is not about erasing fear entirely, but about moving forward alongside it until courage grows louder than doubt. Progress will come, not all at once, but through a series of brave, deliberate choices. As you make this a habit, Be prepared for the next stage of your transformation. The foundation you are now building by confronting and releasing fear will empower you to nurture an entirely new state of mind. In the upcoming chapter, we'll explore how to intentionally cultivate a prosperity mindset, a state where opportunity, gratitude, and growth come together to support lasting abundance. As you wrap up this chapter, don't forget to subscribe to the Intentional Prosperity channel. Share a like and let us know your thoughts or suggestions in the comments. Every story of courage contributes to a stronger, more supportive community. Chapter 3. Cultivating a Prosperity Mindset. What if the most powerful tool for unlocking abundance was not your credentials, environment, or even your circumstances, but the way you trained your mind to see and shape your world? Imagine waking up each morning with a deep sense of certainty that good things are possible for you, regardless of yesterday's setbacks or what others might say. It is not simply wishful thinking, it is a subtle shift in focus and energy that shapes your thoughts, choices, and ultimately the reality you inhabit. Many of us dream of a richer life, not just financially, but in fulfillment, joy, and opportunity. Yet somewhere along the path, it can feel as though unseen barriers keep us circling the same ruts, unable to move from longing to genuine progress. The root of this struggle often lies not in a lack of talent or resources, but in deeply rooted beliefs and habits that quietly limit what we think we can achieve. It is remarkably common to fall prey to a fixed, scarcity-driven mindset. This is the mental habit of believing that there isn't enough, not enough time, money, love, or opportunity to go around. As a result, each success feels temporary, and each setback reinforces the suspicion that lasting prosperity is out of reach. This mindset breeds self-comparison, fuels jealousy, and keeps you measuring your worth against the achievements of others. You may notice this when you focus on what you lack instead of what you have, worry too much about what might go wrong, or find yourself replaying past mistakes rather than dreaming future dreams. It's easy to think of prosperity as something reserved for certain people, perhaps those who had exceptional advantages or seem lucky. This outlook flattens your world and leaves you overlooking both your unique gifts and the opportunities that already surround you. The transformative solution is to intentionally cultivate a prosperity mindset, a way of seeing that recognizes opportunity, potential, and abundance in every situation and inside yourself. This solution is both practical and uplifting. It means shifting your focus day by day onto growth, gratitude, and possibility. Instead of scanning your life for evidence of lack, start training your attention on what is working, the resources and relationships you do have, and the progress you have already made. This mindset shift does not require you to ignore real problems or pretend difficulties don't exist. Instead, it invites you to view challenges as invitations to grow, and every success as a step forward, no matter how small. The core idea behind the prosperity mindset is that your thoughts and beliefs powerfully influence your reality. When you choose to look for possibility rather than limits, you open yourself to bigger dreams, creative ideas, and connections that you might otherwise miss. As you learn to affirm your worth and nurture hope, you build inner resilience that helps you recover quickly and optimistically when life sends unpredictable waves. Consistently focusing on abundance increases your willingness to try new things, seek help, and offer your best because you no longer see life as a zero-sum game. By adopting this practice, you set in motion a ripple effect. Opportunities become clearer, relationships deepen, and your sense of fulfillment expands. A prosperity mindset is not an accident of personality, but a cultivated strength that invites sustained growth, courage, and a much more rewarding experience of living. Developing a prosperity mindset begins with small, regular actions that gradually shift the way you think about yourself and your world. The first important step is to make gratitude a conscious part of your daily routine. Each morning, take a few moments to list at least 3 things you appreciate about your life. These could be opportunities, relationships, or even positive traits you possess. Writing them down, rather than thinking about them, helps cement the experience in your mind and sets a tone of abundance for the day ahead. Another step is to deliberately reframe problems as opportunities whenever they arise. Rather than seeing an obstacle as a dead end, ask yourself, What can I learn from this? How could this help me grow or change direction for the better? This mental shift can turn daily inconveniences and frustrations into valuable lessons, fueling your momentum instead of setting you back. To bring these concepts alive, imagine Marcus, who used to dread his job, always focusing on the stresses and disappointments it brought. Once he intentionally shifted his focus, Marcus began every morning by acknowledging a few aspects of his job he was grateful for: the security it provided, the camaraderie with a few colleagues, even small chances to help others. When challenges came his way, he considered what new skills he might develop or what new approach he could try next time. Over several months, Marcus noticed that not only did his mood improve, but new possibilities surfaced, such as leading a project or being selected for a training program that opened avenues he once thought closed to him. His relationships at work flourished, and he came home less drained, feeling a quiet pride in how his attitude had transformed his experience. Consistently applying these steps yields major benefits over time. You begin to notice a sense of lightness replacing anxiety about the future. Opportunities become more visible, motivation grows, and your openness to new connections invites people and experiences that support your goals. Daily practice strengthens a belief in your own capability and prompts you to seek supportive environments and people, reinforcing the upward cycle of growth and fulfillment. By anchoring your attention to gratitude and positive possibilities, setbacks hold less sway and your self-talk gradually transforms into words of encouragement. This steadier, more vibrant foundation makes risk-taking less frightening and turns even modest successes into stepping stones for further progress. To embed this in your life, commit to a daily ritual. Every evening, identify and write down one challenge you faced and how you responded with a mindset of growth or gratitude. At first, your answers might be simple, like pausing to thank a difficult colleague or noting a lesson learned from a project that didn't go as planned. But as you stay consistent, the changes accumulate. Over time, you'll see a deeper resilience and a more hopeful, enterprising spirit carrying you forward no matter what arises. Let this exercise be both a source of encouragement and a log of your evolving prosperity mindset. As you close this chapter, remember that cultivating abundance in your thinking is just one part of a transformative journey. Next, you'll discover how every setback you face can actually become a source of strength, learning to shape every stumbling block into a building block for your future growth and success. Don't forget to subscribe to Intentional Prosperity, give this book a like, and share your own stories or insights in the comments. Your progress and participation light the way not only for yourself, but for countless others seeking possibility and confidence in their own journeys. Chapter 4. Transforming Setbacks into Strength. What if every failure you have ever experienced was not a sign of weakness, but a hidden invitation to discover new levels of resilience and capability within yourself? Imagine looking back on life's toughest moments and realizing they were not detours from your path, but in fact, stepping stones leading you to greater heights. We live in a world where setbacks can appear final, where mistakes seem to carry endless weight, and disappointment can easily turn into discouragement. It is much too common to let one missed opportunity, one loss, or one moment of rejection color your entire outlook and confidence. The sting of a failed exam, the heartbreak after a relationship ends, or the frustration of being overlooked at work can convince you that you simply aren't cut out for the life you secretly hope to have. When setbacks strike, most people respond with frustration or defeat. Instead of seeing each challenge as an experiment with valuable lessons, it's easy to slip into questioning your own worth or abilities. You might feel alone, as if no one else makes these mistakes or faces similar storms. That persistent inner voice reminds you of what went wrong, amplifying uncertainty and making future risks seem unbearable. As a result, you may stop trying altogether, or hold yourself back from pursuing new possibilities, fearful of experiencing the same pain all over again. Each misstep seems to confirm the worst stories you've ever told yourself. I always mess things up, or I'm not good enough to succeed. When viewed this way, setbacks quickly become cemented as confirmation of self-doubt instead of opportunities for growth. But what if there was a different way to relate to your failures? One that could transform these challenging experiences into a powerful source of personal strength. The transformative solution is to practice approaching every setback not as a sentence, but as a signal, an invitation to pause, learn, adapt, and move forward with even greater wisdom. This approach does not dismiss the reality of frustration, disappointment, or sadness, but honors them as a normal part of every meaningful journey. Instead of allowing hurt to close you off, the practice is to let each hardship serve as a mirror that reflects new areas for refinement, creativity, and self-understanding. This method isn't about pretending setbacks don't matter. It's about recognizing their natural place in any path worth walking and refusing to let them define you. The core idea is to use setbacks as raw material for resilience and resourcefulness. By doing so, the fear of failure loses its grip, not because life becomes easy, but because you discover your ability to adapt and grow through adversity. Imagine yourself adopting this perspective. Instead of berating yourself over a mistake at work, you gently analyze what could be done differently and use that insight to guide your future choices. Rather than allowing a personal rejection to dim your self-worth, you comfort yourself with compassion and view the ending as a door opening to new, possibly even better, connections or opportunities. As you do this more often, the process becomes second nature. Life's inevitable setbacks no longer feel like personal defeats. Instead, they become training grounds for newfound inner strength and a richer, more compassionate view of your own journey. This perspective will set the stage for growth, turning your hardest lessons into powerful assets that enrich your confidence, decisions, and willingness to pursue your dreams. Transforming setbacks into strength is a journey that thrives on consistent, intentional action. The first step is to give yourself permission to acknowledge when a setback occurs, instead of denying or running from it. This means honestly recognizing your disappointment, frustration, or pain, and allowing yourself to feel those emotions without judgment. By naming your experience, you lay the groundwork for genuine growth. Once you have accepted the reality of your setback, shift your focus from blame to understanding. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? What factors contributed to the outcome, and which of those were within my control? This process isn't about dwelling on mistakes, but about mining each event for lessons. For example, imagine a young entrepreneur named Priya, who launched a business that didn't succeed as she hoped. Rather than telling herself she was destined to fail, Priya reflected on her approach. She realized she hadn't researched her target audience thoroughly enough. Taking this lesson, she sought feedback from others and enrolled in a marketing course. The next time she started a project, her preparation and confidence were dramatically improved, leading her to create a thriving small business. The next step is to create a practical response plan. Instead of focusing solely on what went wrong, ask what positive action you can take now that you have this new insight. Perhaps failure at a job interview motivates you to sharpen your skills or seek guidance from a mentor. Maybe a broken relationship encourages you to tend more consciously to your communication and boundaries. Take one small, concrete action in response to each lesson you uncover, turning theoretical growth into lived experience. Applying these steps regularly transforms your approach to setbacks and reduces the anxiety that usually accompanies them. Instead of dreading mistakes, you begin to see each one as a pivotal moment on your growth journey. This shift inspires courage. You become more willing to try new things, knowing that the risks you take will pay dividends in knowledge and resilience, even if things don't go exactly as planned. You'll likely notice that a sense of empowerment grows within you, accompanied by less fear and a willingness to stretch your limits. Your confidence will build, and your story will change, from a person who fears failure to one who welcomes wisdom from every direction. For an exercise to solidify this mindset, reflect each evening on your day and record one setback, big or small, and what you learned from it. Write out a simple action you can take tomorrow that grows from that lesson. Over weeks and months, this habit rewires your perspective, turning you into someone who sincerely believes every experience, including failures, is a gift. As this chapter comes to an end, recognize that every time you choose to transform a setback into a source of strength, you invest in your future success and well-being. Now, it's time to take your journey even further by learning how to align your actions closely with your highest vision. The next chapter will show you how clarity and intention turn dreams into results. If this approach to setbacks inspired you, remember to subscribe to Intentional Prosperity, give your feedback, or share your growth story so we can continue building a powerful community for everyone's success. Chapter 5: Aligning Actions with Vision. Have you ever wondered why, despite having big dreams and clear intentions, progress can sometimes feel painfully slow or even completely out of reach? There's a common, almost invisible gap that appears in the journey between imagining a better life and actually building one. It's as though you're holding a beautiful map of your desired destination, yet somehow you keep wandering in circles, rarely arriving where you want to go. Many people struggle with this persistent gap, finding themselves stuck in repeated patterns or habits that just don't deliver them closer to their goals. You may begin with a fresh burst of motivation, only to find weeks later that old habits, distractions, or self-doubt have quietly redirected your energy away from what matters most. This challenge is both deeply frustrating and incredibly familiar. You set an intention to get healthier, pursue a rewarding project, or nurture relationships that truly matter. But daily routines rarely seem to change in a way that reflects your commitment. The days are often filled with activities that keep you busy, but not necessarily fulfilled. Over time, the excitement for your vision starts to fade, replaced by mild resignation or the nagging sense that you simply aren't meant to reach your full potential. This slow erosion of hope can lead to a disconnect between who you are now and who you feel you could become. If only you could find a way to bridge the invisible gap between your values and your everyday actions. The transformative solution lies in learning to align your actions directly with your vision, one conscious step at a time. Rather than letting your days unfold by default or reacting to circumstances, you begin to make deliberate choices that support what you value most deeply. This practice isn't about perfection or radical overnight change. Instead, it's about turning your vision into a set of guiding principles for behavior, decision-making, and time management. When your daily habits, language, and priorities consciously echo your dreams and beliefs, you start moving with purpose, and the power of consistency brings extraordinary change within reach. At the heart of this shift is the realization that every big goal is achieved through countless small, intentional actions. Aligning actions with vision encourages you to filter decisions through the lens of your deepest commitments. If your goal is to write a novel, for example, you look at each day and ask, does how I spend my time support my vision of being an author? Even small-scale choices matter. Spending 20 minutes writing is more powerful than spending those same minutes scrolling through social media. The more consistently you honor your vision this way, the stronger your momentum and self-trust becomes. Gradually, distractions lose their pull, and conflicting habits weaken, simply because you keep reinforcing your priorities through action. The rewards go beyond achieving a single goal. You cultivate self-respect, clarity, and a growing sense of agency. As you make a practice of living your values through daily actions, your life transforms from a vague ambition to a vivid reality, one that reflects what matters to you, both in spirit and in the details of everyday living. To bridge the gap between what you envision and what you experience daily, begin with intentional reflection. Each morning, carve out just a few quiet minutes to review your most important vision or goal. Clearly name it to yourself and visualize how living in alignment with it would look and feel. The next step is to identify one or two behaviors or choices you could make today that directly reflect this vision, even if they seem small. For example, if your vision is to build deep, meaningful relationships, your action might be starting a heartfelt conversation with a friend instead of scrolling passively through your feed. If your dream is to create art or write regularly, set aside a short, sacred time, perhaps 10 or 20 minutes, when you will focus on nothing but this work, giving yourself permission to fully show up. Real-life transformation is most visible in those who make their intentions concrete. Take the story of Marissa, who had long wanted to improve her health, but felt stuck in old routines. She started simply, with the daily question, what would the healthiest version of myself do right now? This question guided her to choose water over soda, a brisk walk over another hour of screen time, and eventually preparing home-cooked meals instead of takeout. These small changes, chosen again and again, steadily realigned her habits with her vision. Months later, not only was her health thriving, but she felt an uplifting sense of integrity. Her external life was starting to match the image she'd long cherished within. Those who apply these steps discover remarkable benefits. Frustration caused by the gap between dreams and actions begins to shrink, replaced by increasing confidence and joy. Decision-making becomes simpler, as having clear vision-inspired criteria makes it easier to say no to distractions. Each task you complete in alignment with your vision strengthens your self-trust and makes it more likely you'll continue the cycle. Self-doubt is replaced with self-belief as you build tangible evidence of your ability to keep promises to yourself. Over time, your days become infused with meaning, and you learn the satisfaction of progress, knowing that each moment is adding up to a bigger, brighter picture of who you want to be. To really anchor this practice, commit to an evening ritual for the next week. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect and write down how your actions did or did not reflect your vision. Where did you succeed? Where did you get off course? Notice this without shame, simply as information to improve. Each evening, set a tiny specific intention for how you will better align your actions tomorrow. You'll be surprised at how much your awareness and motivation will grow just by this small act of mindful review. The daily process will not only sharpen your discipline, but also highlight successes you might otherwise overlook. Remember, each day is a fresh chance to practice realignment, deepening your connection to purpose, and building a foundation for lasting change. With these strategies in practice, you are now poised to move beyond alignment and into the realm of attracting new possibilities. In the next chapter, you'll discover the art of manifesting opportunities through faith, how belief in the unseen supports you in calling forth results and connections you never imagined were possible. Before you move forward, subscribe to the Intentional Prosperity channel, give this book a like, and add your personal stories or suggestions in the comments. Being part of a supportive community will make your journey even richer, and your insights may inspire others to match words with actions on their path to prosperity. Chapter 6. Manifesting opportunities through faith. Have you ever paused to consider how many of life's possibilities are quietly waiting for you to simply believe in their potential? Imagine walking into each day with an open heart, feeling as though invisible doors could swing wide at any moment, revealing opportunities you never thought possible. The truth is, so much of what holds us back from experiencing new paths and catching unexpected breaks is not a lack of talent, resources, or luck, but a shortage of faith in what's possible for ourselves. All too often, the mind becomes crowded with doubt, skepticism, or the sting of old disappointments. What if things don't work out? What if I'm not enough? The result is that we play it small, overlook possibilities, and sometimes fail to recognize the subtle invitations the universe is offering us to grow, connect, and succeed. The challenge is familiar to anyone who has ever set out to improve their life or reach for a bigger goal. It might be the hesitation to apply for a job that seems out of reach, the fear of investing energy in a new project, or feeling stuck in our comfort zones as new chances pass by unnoticed. Many of us have learned to expect the worst or brace ourselves for disappointment because it feels safer than hoping for something beyond what we've experienced before. We want more, but deep down, we often don't believe that more is meant for us, or we find it difficult to trust that our effort and vision could truly unlock new doors. This persistent lack of faith, both in ourselves and in possibility, places an invisible cap on the good we are able to welcome into our lives. The transformative solution lies in cultivating a mindset of faith that goes beyond mere optimism or wishful thinking. True faith is an active, daily practice of believing in potential and trusting that new opportunities can and will arise, sometimes from the most unexpected places. This kind of faith isn't blind. It's built on a willingness to look for connections, say yes to the unfamiliar, and move forward even when the next step isn't completely clear. When you consistently approach life with this attitude, your perspective shifts. You start seeing doors where you once saw only walls, and you become more attentive to possibilities that used to slip by unnoticed. Faith opens your awareness and helps you engage with both setbacks and successes with a sense of readiness, adaptability, and hope. Embracing faith changes more than just your mindset. It invites transformation into your everyday experience. Suddenly, networking leads to meaningful conversations, setbacks reveal hidden blessings, and pursuits that once felt out of reach become realistic options. Instead of closing yourself off after a disappointment, you look up and ask, where is the next door? By leaning into faith, you free yourself from the need to control the outcome, allowing room for life to surprise and support you in unexpected ways. Over time, what begins as belief becomes rooted experience as new opportunities unfold in response to your openness. Trust in the possibility, practice faith in action, and watch as your world expands far beyond what you ever imagined possible. Manifesting opportunities through faith starts with daily intention and simple but powerful habits. The first actionable step is to consciously expect good things to unfold, even if you can't yet see how they will appear. Begin each morning with a quiet affirmation, telling yourself, I am open to new opportunities today. I trust that good is coming, even in ways I cannot yet see. This practice trains your mind to scan the horizon for possibilities, making your thinking more expansive and less bogged down by doubts. When you approach the world with an open outlook, you create room for surprises and serendipity to take root. Take the step of saying yes to small invitations prompted by your intention. For instance, imagine Sam, who often felt invisible at work and doubtful that advancement could be his. After deciding to practice faith in daily life, he started volunteering for new projects and offering help where he hadn't before. One day, a task he accepted led directly to an introduction with a senior leader, opening the very door he had been hoping would unlock. Sam's story is not one of luck, but the result of answering the quiet nudges that faith brings, trusting the process, and making space for new things to find their way to him. A third step is to reflect on past experiences or disappointments and look for the hidden blessings they may have offered. By shifting your perspective and searching for meaning, you train your subconscious to see detours not as failures, but as preparation for unexpected good. Try journaling about a past setback and list even the smallest ways it shaped your character, taught you resilience, or led to new paths. Through this practice, faith grows because you witness the extraordinary value of times when things did not go as planned, yet ultimately worked out for your benefit. The cumulative benefit of practicing faith is profound. You will notice you have become less discouraged by no and bolder in asking for yes. Rather than shutting down at every disappointment or delay, you persist a bit longer and keep your heart open for something bigger. Relationships become more vibrant and meaningful because faith helps you connect with others from a place of genuine curiosity and possibility. Over time, opportunities that once seemed rare or reserved for others start to come your way because you are prepared, available, and open when they do. To immediately put this into action, try a faith-building exercise each day for the next week. Every evening, write down one moment during your day when you chose to trust the process instead of pulling back into old doubts. Record what actions you took, even if the outcome is still unknown. This steady journaling practice will deepen your awareness of how you are participating in your own transformation. Remember, faith is not about forcing outcomes, but making yourself available to the abundance already waiting for you. In the next chapter, you'll turn this faith outward by learning how to expand your sense of abundance through gratitude. This step will help you build on your new confidence, enhancing your ability to nurture and attract even greater prosperity. If you found this approach valuable, subscribe to the Intentional Prosperity channel, leave a like, and share your insights in the comments. Your story and feedback light the way for others seeking to unlock life's hidden doors alongside you. Chapter 7. Expanding Abundance Through Gratitude. Have you ever wondered if there is a simple key to unlocking more joy, contentment, and success in your life? Something available right now, no matter your circumstances? Imagine starting your day with a deep sense of richness, where even the smallest aspects of your world feel lit up with possibility and satisfaction. Many people chase greater abundance by endlessly seeking something new or different, assuming that fulfillment lies somewhere just out of reach, in the next promotion, a bigger house, or the perfect relationship. Yet, despite accumulating more, the feeling of abundance so often slips through their fingers, creating a continuous cycle of striving and dissatisfaction. This sense of endlessly chasing enough creates disconnection and restlessness for so many. Perhaps you found yourself focusing on what's missing, or comparing your achievements and possessions with those of others. Even when good things do happen, it's not long before your mind shifts to the next milestone to pursue. This persistent habit of overlooking the present moment and the gifts already around you can silently diminish your energy and self-worth. As you focus on gaps instead of gratitudes, your sense of abundance shrinks, leaving you feeling less hopeful and more worried. Often convinced there's never quite enough to go around. Enough time, enough money, enough love, or enough opportunity. The result is a narrowing spiral in which contentment feels increasingly elusive. The transformative solution is to make gratitude not just an occasional act, but a foundational way of seeing and living. Gratitude is far more than polite thank yous or fleeting moments of happiness. It is the powerful, ongoing practice of actively acknowledging and appreciating the wealth of what's already present in your life. Choosing gratitude is like putting on a new pair of glasses that highlight all the good you might otherwise ignore. Rather than waiting for some ideal moment in the future, you decide, every day, to notice the beauty in the ordinary, the lessons and challenges, and the value in each connection or opportunity. With this mindset, abundance is no longer measured only by what you gain, but by how deeply you can recognize what's already yours. At its core, gratitude shifts you out of the restless mentality of lack and into the expanding state of enough. When practiced consistently, it acts like a magnet for more positivity and success. You find yourself naturally attracting stronger relationships, more creative ideas, and opportunities that once felt hidden, because you are engaging with the present moment instead of always reaching for what's missing. The beauty of gratitude is that its power grows the more you use it. Each moment of conscious appreciation multiplies itself, deepening your sense of meaning and fulfillment. As you make gratitude a foundational routine and mindset, life becomes more abundant, not just in what you receive, but in how genuinely you experience and savor each and every day. Expanding abundance through gratitude begins with establishing small, mindful habits that you can sustain every day. To start, dedicate a few moments each morning to mentally or physically list 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. Don't just name what looks impressive to others. Instead, go beneath the surface and notice what truly enriches your everyday experience. This could be as simple as the warmth of sunlight through your window, the support of a friend, or even the satisfaction of a meal enjoyed in peace. Each moment of gratitude, when sincerely acknowledged, creates ripples throughout your mindset for the rest of the day, building the habit of noticing abundance rather than lack. Put this practice into action just as Maya did after experiencing a difficult period in her personal life. She felt overwhelmed by loss and uncertainty, convinced that her days were marked mainly by struggle and scarcity. Her therapist suggested she keep a small notebook by her bed and write down 3 specific things she was grateful for before she fell asleep each night. At first, this felt artificial, even a little pointless, as her mind wanted to focus on worries that loomed larger. But with gentle persistence, the act became routine. Maya soon found she was noticing more glimmers of hope and satisfaction, brief conversations with a neighbor that brightened her mood, a sense of accomplishment after trying something new, and the quiet comfort in her own resilience. As weeks turned into months, her sense of possibility and contentment grew, allowing her to see opportunities that she previously overlooked, and to form more uplifting connections with the people around her. The cumulative benefit of consistent gratitude is profound. A regular gratitude practice helps train your brain to spot the good even in challenging times, softening the impact of setbacks and giving you more stability and hope. You may find stress loses its grip, replaced by increased positivity in both your thoughts and actions. Relationships often improve as well, because when you express authentic appreciation, others feel valued and are more inclined to respond in kind. By focusing on what you are already receiving, you create the emotional climate for greater abundance. New opportunities present themselves more readily, and you feel more eager to pursue them, confident in the richness of your foundation. This week, give yourself the challenge of capturing at least one unique gratitude each day. Something you haven't noticed or written before. You can collect these in a journal, a digital note, or even on slips of paper dropped into a gratitude jar. Reflect at night on how this growing list makes you feel. Does your view on your network of relationships, your goals, or your overall life satisfaction start to expand? This deliberate act not only strengthens the new habit, but deepens your sense of abundance in every corner of your life. Looking ahead, gratitude forms the soil in which transformation takes root. In the next chapter, you'll discover what it means to fully live a life transformed. How to take everything you've learned and let it ripple through all that you are and do. Before you turn the page, remember to subscribe to Intentional Prosperity. Leave this work a like and share your reflections or experiences in the comments. Your stories and gratitude not only fuel your own growth, but can serve as inspiration for the larger community journeying toward prosperity alongside you. Chapter 8: Living a Life Transformed. What if the journey you have undertaken so far has the power not only to change your daily routines, but to redefine who you are and how you show up in the world? Imagine standing on the edge of your old boundaries, able to see just how much your beliefs, habits, and deepest hopes have shifted. Envision waking up with purpose, infused with an inner calm and resilience that no circumstance can take away. For many, the concept of transformation remains out of reach, seeming more like wishful thinking than a concrete reality. Life's stresses, unpredictabilities, and setbacks can make it seem as if full transformation is reserved for someone else, or always waiting just beyond the next hill. The trouble is that, even after making progress, it's easy to slip back into old habits. You might have started new routines for gratitude, honed your mindset, or learned to handle setbacks with grace, but daily pressures see you juggling competing priorities or falling back into self-doubt. It may feel like two different versions of yourself are at war, the one striving for growth and the one holding tight to comfortable patterns and long-held stories of limitation. When tasks pile up or unexpected events hit, it is all too tempting to let go of new practices, convinced that transformation was a fleeting phase rather than a lasting shift. The momentum built through discipline and hope can slowly erode as familiar challenges resurface, and the risk is that you quietly begin to lower your expectations for the life you truly desire. The transformative solution is to make the lessons and practices you've gained into the foundations of your identity, not something you only do when it's convenient, but woven deeply into who you are becoming. It's about choosing, every single day, to return to trust, gratitude, resilience, and vision, even when circumstances make it hard. This isn't a finish line you reach. Instead, it's an active choice to live out your transformation, reaffirming your commitment and values regardless of what life throws your way. In this new approach, self-growth is not something outside yourself to chase, but a daily rhythm that sustains you through the highs and lows, shaping the person you are from the inside out. The real beauty of living a life transformed is witnessed in how challenges, setbacks, and opportunities are integrated into an ongoing cycle of learning, support, and personal expansion. Adopting this identity means that when stress builds or setbacks tempt you to revert, you lean into the practices you've developed, pausing for gratitude, reminding yourself of your trust in the process, or simply breathing and reflecting before reacting. Over time, you're confident the foundation is that you can meet whatever comes your way with calm, adaptable resourcefulness. You stop needing dramatic breakthroughs to feel that life is changing, because the transformation is embodied in dozens of daily choices, no matter how small. As you live out these principles, you cultivate a lasting sense of peace and empowerment, inspiring both yourself and those around you to imagine greater possibilities. knowing the journey is truly worthwhile. Maintaining a life transformed requires small but intentional actions that anchor your growth, even when life becomes uncertain or demanding. Begin by creating a daily check-in with yourself, a simple pause in the morning or evening to reflect on whether your words, thoughts, and choices today align with the person you are becoming. Ask yourself gently, did I show trust in the process? Did I practice gratitude, even in small ways? Did I choose growth and reflection over reaction? This check-in is not meant for self-criticism, but as a reminder of what matters to you and as a compass for staying on course. Consider how Laura, a working parent, integrated transformation into her busy life. Unable to control life's chaos, she chose 3 grounding habits: beginning her day with a gratitude list, responding to unexpected challenges with a breath and a positive affirmation, and ending each night by celebrating one thing she handled well. When she slipped up, she treated herself with kindness, acknowledging progress instead of demanding perfection. This reliable rhythm kept her anchored, deeply connected to her intention even in hectic seasons. A second step is to actively cultivate your support system. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth mindset, celebrate your progress, and remind you gently when old habits sneak back. This might mean sharing your journey with a close friend, joining a group with similar values, or exchanging weekly messages with someone also intentional about their path. Accountability and shared experiences make practices feel less isolated and more sustainable. They give you fresh perspectives when you hit plateaus and infuse motivation on days when self-doubt is strongest. Another powerful habit is to periodically review your journey and give yourself credit for even the smallest shifts. Once a month, sit down with your journal or a quiet moment for reflection and ask, where have I noticed positive change? What new opportunities or strengths have unfolded because of my ongoing commitment? How have setbacks taught me or deepened my compassion? Let these celebrations and learnings reaffirm your dedication and make your journey visible to yourself, bringing pride where discouragement once lived. The greatest benefit of consistently applying these simple steps is that your transformation becomes self-fueling. Rather than constantly striving for change, you reach a place where living aligned with your true values feels natural and rewarding. Over time, conflicts seem less daunting because you've already built inner tools for resilience and wisdom. As this new foundation settles, your energy is spent less on worry or self-criticism and more on deepening purpose, creativity, and connection with others. You become an uplifted presence, someone others notice for your calm, hopefulness, and resourcefulness. As you continue this journey, choose one practical step today: a morning reflection, a shared gratitude with a friend, or a midday pause to listen to your intentions. Watch how even a tiny action each day can reaffirm your commitment and spark new waves of transformation. Let growth be a continuous process, gentle, ongoing, rooted in kindness to yourself. Finally, know that your story is powerful encouragement to others. Each step you take ripples outward, creating new possibilities for family, friends, colleagues, and even people you may never meet. To keep thriving within this supportive community, subscribe to Intentional Prosperity, give feedback, or share your thoughts and personal victories in the comments, knowing that together, we continue to uplift and inspire lives, one intentional day at a time. As you reach the conclusion of Trust and Transform, open new doors to prosperity, take a moment to honor the journey you've begun. Throughout these chapters, you have explored the transformative power of trust, the release of fear and doubt, and the profound shifts that come from cultivating gratitude, resilience, and faith. By aligning your actions with your deepest vision and welcoming opportunities with an open heart, you are actively shaping a life rich in abundance and meaning. Growth is a continuous path, and each small, intentional step you take adds up to lasting change. Thank you sincerely for investing your time, attention, and hope into this process. If you found inspiration or empowerment from these teachings, please remember to like this video, share your insights or questions in the comments, and subscribe to the Intentional Prosperity YouTube channel to continue this journey of transformation together.